Hey guys, my name is Tari Lima. I help adult children of narcissistic and emotionally immature parents break free. And I want to talk about the word empath. A lot of people in the toxic relationship scenario niche online use this word to describe themselves. Now, it's okay to acknowledge that there really are some people who have high levels of empathy, people who can maybe feel along with you when you tell them an impactful story, or people who have a natural impetus to want to reach out, lend a hand, be a shoulder to lean on, right? And to help people. You know, those people who like find dogs and cats and rats out in the street and they bring them home and take care of them. So it's all right to acknowledge that such people exist. But I see a huge blind spot in the online narcissism information community when it comes to this word. Now, if you're anything like me, then maybe you think being empathetic is something that happens within a system, where there are two roles that you can take on. And one of them is the role of the empathetic giving person, and the other one is the role of the selfish, narcissistic oppressor type of person. I remember in my various relationships that were inherently unequal, I was giving more of myself than I was receiving. I used to have that mentality that I could only be the oppressor or the oppressed. And quite honestly, it saddened me greatly throughout my life to think, well, I don't want to be the oppressor. I guess my only choice is to be the oppressed. When you think in terms of there are only oppressed people and oppressors, there are only, the hunter and the prey, there's only like the bad person and the good person, then if you see yourself as empathetic, you're not going to want to be the so-called bad person, right? And then you will consistently take on the role of, well, I guess I have to be the one that gets screwed over. This is not how you want to look at empathy. Empathy is not the reason why people stay in toxic family systems or toxic relationships. What happens is if you give of yourself and you also learned the fawn survival response, you're going to confuse empathy with fawning. Now, let's remember what fawning is. When your nervous system identifies a threat to your survival, it's going to try to survive somehow, right? And it's going to activate either the fight response, the flight response, the freeze response. But if you're in a situation that you can't get out of easily, then your nervous system is going to understand that you need to adapt to this oppressive situation. And it will activate, oftentimes, not in all people, but in some people, possibly the most empathetic ones, it's going to activate the fawn response. Fawning is not synonymous with empathy. Fawning is a type of self subjugation and self sacrifice that we do in order to avoid bigger punishments, avoid abandonment, and maybe try to regulate the oppressive person so that the whole house environment isn't so tense and everyone isn't walking on eggshells. So, in order to activate the fawn response within a narcissistic family system, you needed to deactivate your inner violence, your inner aggression, because you needed to give up that part of yourself. Because if you exposed this inner aggression or violence, or if you fought back, there was probably punishment, right? So your psyche was quite wise, and it was like, whoa, I'm gonna take this aggression, which is a completely normal self-defense response, and I'm going to understand that in this fawning scenario, we can't be aggressive, and I'm going to exile this part of me to my subconscious mind. Now, I want you to think of a fried egg. Okay, so here you got a fried egg, you got a yolk right in the middle, and then you got the white around it. I want you to think of your personality, this empathic personality that you see yourself as the yolk. And I want you to think about your aggression, which is a legitimate part of your personality when used correctly, as something that you've renegated to the subconscious part of your mind, which in this scenario is the egg white. For you to keep on being this beautiful, empathetic person that is giving, that does want to keep on honoring this wonderful characteristic that you have, but to do this in a way that is safe for you and for those that you protect, maybe your children or your animals or whatever, instead of seeing yourself as someone who is an empath versus an oppressor, you want to see yourself as an empathetic person who is now learning to integrate your natural born aggression into your personality. What does this mean? Does this mean that you become an oppressor? No. It means that you start considering your empathy something so beautiful and precious, such a treasure, that you understand that you don't want to give it to just anyone. because it's a beautiful treasure for humanity. And you understand that because it's such a beautiful treasure, you need to protect it and you need to protect yourself. And you can only do that if you talk to the part of you that learned how to fawn and you tell it, my love, I know we needed to give up our aggression back then because that was the only way to survive in such a family system. But we're not scared little children anymore. And as adults in the great wide world, we need to be able to protect ourselves. So we're going to integrate this ability to be more impactful, more confrontational when necessary. This doesn't mean you're going to become narcissistic or abusive, but it just means you're going to learn how to integrate the ability to displease people. Stop being the people pleaser. Because once you start saying no, once you start setting boundaries within the family system, there's going to be pushback. And if you think that setting boundaries is synonymous with losing empathy, then you're not going to want to be this person who isn't empathetic. And so you're going to give up your aggression, your legitimate, functional, correct aggression that was deactivated so long ago. So I have a small exercise for you to start seeing yourself as, yeah, an empathetic person, if this is something beautiful that you have in your personality, but an empathetic person who, right? So what does this mean? Honor your empathy, but then also tell me how you're learning how to honor your self-protection. So finish this sentence. Yeah, I'm an empath. I'm an empath who has opened their eyes. Yeah, I'm an empath. I'm an empath who knows how to set boundaries when necessary. Yeah, I'm an empath who knows how to not please people when necessary. Yeah, I'm an empath. I'm an empath who can take the guilt of protecting myself and protecting those that depend on me. All right? Now, this is a healthy, integrated way of being empathic. Now, you cannot keep seeing being an empath as automatically never being able to displease or be seen as a bad person, specifically by those who want to use you. Do you see what I'm saying? So please don't take this as I'm denying that empathetic people exist. I'm not denying it. I'm denying that it's just empathy that keeps people stuck in toxic family systems or relationships. What keeps us there are the parts that we had to deactivate and get rid of because we don't know how to protect ourselves, because that's dangerous. Now you got to talk to those parts and be like, hey, we couldn't use you back then when we were kids, but we're not kids anymore. And we definitely need this energy in our personality. All right, if this made sense to you, then reach out for one-on-one sessions or download your Break the Chains roadmap. No, not roadmap. Roadmap. Break the Chains, 10 steps to break free from your narcissistic family system. Learn how to break free in practice and above all, psychologically. So finish this sentence. Yeah, I'm an empath. I'm an empath who, blah, blah, blah. See you tomorrow.